Why? 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 Oh God fucking why?
Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers is directed by Dwight H. Little and stars Donald Pleasence and Danielle Harris. The movie tells the story about a little girl named Jamie Lloyd who has been traumatized due to her family's past in Haddonfield, piling on all their trauma of Michael Myers onto her, all while Michael Myers has finally escaped captivity once again in order to go back to Haddonfield and try and kill his long-lost niece. Happy Halloween, everyone. It's finally time to talk about the Halloween franchise once again, and this one is considered one of the better films in the entire franchise, and I just so happen to agree with that statement. Is it a great film? Is it on par with the original? Hell no, it is not. There are a few problems holding this movie back from being great. But I can confidently say that this is a really fun Halloween film with good characters and a fun enough, albeit traditional, Halloween story. What I really love most about this film is the main characters themselves. We have the trio with Donald Pleasence's Sam Loomis as he's trying to find Michael Myers, and he does his usual thing, though you could tell he is a lot more angrier now since the events of the second and first film. After hearing Michael Myers escape captivity, he's already on it trying to find Michael Myers. And when he gets to Haddonfield, the police automatically believes him. And I really like that aspect of the film where throughout the entire movie, the cops don't deny anything. They learned from the events of the first film, but it's going to still be a lot more difficult to try and capture Michael Myers once again here, as Michael Myers in this film is a lot more dangerous than ever before. Then we got the main character, Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, and I really love this little girl. I think Danielle Harris does a really good job portraying her with the naivete of a young child and being able to emote so much tragedy within her eyes. Like, you could tell that she has been going through a whole lot in her life, and she has not even met Michael Myers yet, and he is still somehow always in her nightmares, always in her dreams. And once he finally shows up to try and kill her, and we already learned everything there is to know about this character, what her family life is, what her school life is, how Haddonfield treats her, you are automatically rooting for this girl to try and survive. And you don't want anything to happen to her, really. She's one of the few children characters that I don't find myself annoyed at all by. Even some kid characters I like in movies, they can be a bit annoying at times, but this one, she is sweet. She's adorable, and you care for her, you understand her character and what she's been through, and I just wanted to see her survive throughout the entire film. And Danielle Harris does a really good job at giving so much naivete, so much happiness and trauma, most specifically with this character, meshing it all well, and she is the highlight of the film. And her sister is also a good character. I really enjoyed her, how she goes through an arc to where she needs to learn to be more caring of her sister, and not just that, be more understanding of her, and not just be focused on what she wants all the time, and be there for her family even if she is not blood related, which she does state in the beginning of the film. When we're introduced to these characters, you can tell she is trying to be a good sister, but her heart is not in there, and she needs to learn how to grow that heart out for her family in this terrible event that is happening. So we got a good set of characters here to care about and to see survive. And some of the other side characters like the sheriff or the boyfriend, they all have likable character traits too and are not just one-dimensional. They actually felt like real people. They felt like people who you also want to see survive, even if they have a lot of flaws that do maybe count them in the body count. Maybe not all of the characters that get killed off, which I really like because you have to assume which characters are going to die or not, and it creates a lot more tension like that. I really like how the movie uses its main characters here and how it portrays them. They're not incompetent, they're not stupid, they make dumb decisions of course, but not in the way that makes you groan or angry. They felt like human decisions that makes them feel down to earth and like actual real people in a terrible situation. Which then leads on to the horror elements of this film, and for the most part I think the horror here and the kills are all really good. Are they as strong as the first film? No. I think the filmmaking here is a bit of a downgrade. The way it was shot, the cinematography, while not bad, there's a lot of good shots here, especially in the opening sequence where we see a bunch of fall atmosphere, stuff and decorations of the Halloween season. It is a great opening that I really enjoyed, but the rest of the film, while looking good, I don't think it is as good as what Dean Cundey was able to pull off with the previous 3 films. It is not as cinematic. It sometimes feel like it is for TV, especially with some minor characters here that make it feel like a bit of a sitcom at times, and they can sometimes drag the pacing just a tiny bit. And as for the kills in the film, they are very creative. It is not as brutal as some later entries, but it's starting to get there here, and I think the amount of brutality this film presents is appropriate. It is not overkill, it's not overly bloody. There's a few good kills here that are very creative with Michael Myers, and they all serve a purpose to the story. It's not just mindless. Michael Myers has a strategy of what he's trying to do, and what makes him dangerous in this film, even more so than in the previous film. He has a strategy on how to cut all the power from Haddonfield to make sure no one's able to call for help or for the outside world to come in and stop Michael, which makes it hard to find him. It makes Michael Myers a lot more formidable this time around, and we get to see a smarter side to this monster that is a bit human, but still the way he presents himself is still just as unhuman as it was in the first 2 movies. But while I do like the way this movie characterizes Michael Myers here, and he does pose a formidable threat, one thing that I cannot get behind, and I'm pretty sure all of you, even if you do like this film or don't like this film, we could all agree that this mask is terrible. It is not scary at all. It looks cheap. It looks way too silly. It looks too tight on the actor's face. It just doesn't look right. And it starts a trend in this entire franchise up until the recent Halloween films where none of these movies can get the mask completely right. There's always something wrong here, and this movie began that trend, and it is unfortunately the worst part in this movie. And it makes a lot of the film not feel as scary because the way Michael is presented, especially in some shots where it looks like the actor is just wearing pads, it makes him a bit less intimidating than he really is in the movie. Michael Myers is a mixed bag and is the worst element somehow in this movie. This movie did not do Michael complete justice. As for everything else in the film, I think the characters are good. I still think the directing is overall solid. I like the ideas of having the cops and most of Haddonfield be secluded and all the power being cut off, and they had to rely on themselves to fight against Michael Myers. There's some hobos and some rednecks. They're out there with shotguns trying to look for Michael, and I thought that idea was pretty cool. All in all, this movie still has a lot going for it that I really like, and the ending where, I'm going to spoil this part of the film, so be warned. The ending where Jamie Lloyd stabs her mother and is wearing Michael's costume when he was a kid, where he killed his own sister, and Loomis is screaming at her, no, and is about to shoot her. That ending was fantastic, and I would have loved to have seen that idea of Jamie Lloyd being the new killer explored in the 5th film. If they only ever done that. We'll get to the 5th movie later, but aside from that, this was still a really good surprise ending. In the movie, I felt build up to that a lot with a lot of the dreams that Jamie does have, and the connection she has had with Michael psychologically in her mind, and how this whole event affected her. You can understand how we got to this point, and it felt like a great full circle moment. I wish that the franchise could have taken this potentially great idea and just ran with it, but yeah. Aside from that, great ending to a really fun Halloween film. Is it the best in the franchise? It is one of the better movies. I wouldn't say it is like the best, like on the same tier as the original, but it's still a lot of fun. It's a lot of good kills, has fun characters to be around. Sam Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence, is fun as always, and I still can get a kick out of this film every Halloween season. I'm going to give Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers a B+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.